Luke chapter 9. And having called together his 12 disciples, he gave them power and authority over all the demons and to cure diseases. And he sent them to proclaim the kingdom of God and to heal the ailing. And he said to them, Take nothing for the way, neither staff, nor leather pouch, nor bread, nor money, neither have 2 coats each. And into whatever house you may enter, remain there, and depart from there. And as many as may not receive you, going forth from that city, even the dust from your feet shake off, for a testimony against them. And going forth, they were going through the several villages, proclaiming good news, and healing everywhere. And Herod the Tetrarch heard of all the things being done by him, and was perplexed, because it was said by some that John has been raised out of the dead, and by some that Elijah appeared, and by others that a prophet, one of the ancients, was risen. And Herod said, I beheaded John, but who is this concerning whom I hear such things? And he was seeking to see him. And the apostles, having turned back, declared to him how they did great things. And having taken them, he withdrew by himself into a city called Bethsaida. And the multitudes, having known, followed him. And having received them, he was speaking to them concerning the kingdom of God. And he cured those having need of service. And the day began to decline, and the 12, having come near, said to him, Let away the multitude, that having gone into the surrounding villages and the fields, they may lodge and find provision, because here we are in a desolate place. And he said to them, You give them to eat. And they said, We have no more than 5 loaves and 2 fishes, except having gone, we may buy food for all this people. For they were about 5,000 men. And he said to his disciples, Cause them to recline in companies, in each 50. And they did so, and made all to recline. And having taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, having looked up to the sky, he blessed them and broke, and was giving to the disciples to set before the multitude. And they ate, and were all filled. And there was taken up what was over to them of broken pieces, 12 baskets. And it came to pass, as he is praying alone, the disciples were with him. And he questioned them, saying, Who do the multitudes say I am? And they, answering, said, John the Immerser, and others Elijah, and others that a prophet, one of the ancients, was risen. And he said to them, And you, who do you say I am? And Peter answering said, The Christ of God. And having charged them, he commanded them to say this to no one, saying, It is necessary for the Son of Man to suffer many things, and to be rejected by the elders and chief priests and scribes, and to be killed, and to be raised the 3rd day. And he said to all, If anyone wishes to come after me, let him disown himself and take up his cross daily, and follow me. For whoever may will to save his life will lose it, and whoever may lose his life for my sake, he will save it. For what is a man profited, having gained the whole world, and having lost or having forfeited himself? For whoever may be ashamed of me and of my words, of this one will the Son of Man be ashamed, when he may come in his glory, and the Father's, and the holy messengers. And I say to you truly, there are certain of those standing here who will not taste of death until they may see the kingdom of God. And it came to pass after these words, as it were 8 days, that having taken Peter and John and James, he went up to the mountain to pray. And it came to pass in his praying, the appearance of his face became altered, and his clothing became flashing white. And behold, 2 men were speaking together with him, who were Moses and Elijah, who, having appeared in glory, spoke of his outgoing that he was about to fulfill in Jerusalem. But Peter and those with him were heavy with sleep. And having awoken, they saw his glory, and the 2 men standing with him. And it came to pass, in their parting from him, Peter said to Jesus, Master, it is good to us to be here, and we may make 3 shelters, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah, not knowing what he says. And as he was speaking these things, there came a cloud and overshadowed them, and they feared in their entering into the cloud. And a voice came out of the cloud, saying, This is my Son, the Beloved. Hear him. And when the voice was past, Jesus was found alone. And they were silent, and declared to no one in those days anything of what they have seen. And it came to pass on the next day, they, having come down from the mountain, a great multitude met him there. And behold, a man from the multitude cried out, saying, Teacher, I implore you, look on my son, because he is my only begotten. And behold, a spirit takes him, and suddenly he cries out, and it convulses him with foaming, and it hardly departs from him, bruising him. And I implored your disciples that they might cast it out, and they were not able. And Jesus answering said, O generation, unsteadfast and perverse, until when will I be with you and endure you? Bring your son near here. And as he is yet coming near, the demon threw him down and convulsed him. And Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit, and healed the youth, and gave him back to his father. And they were all amazed at the greatness of God. And while all are wondering at all the things that Jesus did, he said to his disciples, Lay to your ears these words, for the Son of Man is about to be delivered up into the hands of men. And they were not knowing this saying, and it was veiled from them, that they might not perceive it. And they were afraid to ask him about this saying. And there entered a reasoning among them, this, who may be the greater of them. And Jesus, having seen the reasoning of their heart, having taken hold of a child, set him beside him, and said to them, Whoever may receive this child in my name receives me, and whoever may receive me receives him who sent me. For he who is least among you all, he will be great. And John answering said, Master, we saw a certain one casting forth the demons in your name, and we forbade him, because he does not follow with us. And Jesus said to him, Do not forbid, for he who is not against us is for us. And it came to pass in the completing of the days of his being taken up, that he fixed his face to go on to Jerusalem. And he sent messengers before his face. And having gone on, they went into a village of Samaritans to make ready for him. And they did not receive him, because his face was going on to Jerusalem. And his disciples James and John, having seen, said, Lord, will you that we may command fire to come down from heaven, and to consume them, as Elijah also did? And having turned, he rebuked them and said, You have not known of what spirit you are, for the Son of Man did not come to destroy men's lives, but to save. And they went on to another village. And it came to pass, as they were going on in the way, a certain one said to him, I will follow you wherever you may go, Lord. And Jesus said to him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the sky places of rest, but the Son of Man has nowhere he may recline the head. And he said to another, Follow me. And he said, Lord, permit me, having gone away, to first bury my father. And Jesus said to him, Permit the dead to bury their own dead, and you, having gone away, publish the kingdom of God. And another also said, I will follow you, Lord, but first permit me to take leave of those in my house. And Jesus said to him, No one, having put his hand on a plough and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God.